What is going on, everyone, and welcome to another episode of ToyShopFab. And on this video, we're going to check the fuel pressure and change the fuel pump on this 2004 Ford Ranger with a 3.0 liter engine. Yep, that's right. Before we change the fuel pump in this truck, I'm going to show you guys how to test the fuel pressure, because a fuel pump that doesn't work isn't always what happens when a fuel pump goes out on these trucks. Now, you can have a failing fuel pump, and that can be contributed by a couple of different things. One, our fuel filter. So before we change the fuel pump, what I'm going to do is we're going to change our fuel filter on this truck. And the fuel filter in this pickup truck it's a unique one. So you got the two ends. This is the inside, it says it there. So this is the side that gets faced towards our fuel tank, our fuel pump, where that sits. This goes up front towards the engine. So we're gonna check and we're gonna change this out first. Now the reason we're gonna start here, because this is the simpler fix, right? Now let's say you are driving along, you've got loss of power, it doesn't take off from the line or a stop sign as well as it should, but it does fire up. Every once in a while it stumbles on its face, and that could be a symptom of either a failing fuel filter, because this truck regulates its fuel pressure from that filter. He's got it in and then goes back to the tank. We only have one inlet up here on this little fuel rail, and I do not see a fuel pressure regulator. So my best guess is it gets regulated from that fuel filter. And we've all seen them on, Corvettes. Corvettes have the same one. And I have one over here on this LS engine here. You guys, let's see if I can get it. There you go. It's got two lines in. So you got the pressure coming from the pump in. Relief pressure goes back to the tank. This side feeds the fuel rail. So this little Ford Ranger apparently does it the same way. But I do have a fuel pump over there if it does end up being a fuel pump. But first things first, let's check our fuel pressure. Now, the fuel pressure of this little 3-liter engine should be anywhere between 50 on the lowest, and that's key on idling, 50 and 60, and up there in the driving range. So it needs to be between 50 and 60 PSI. Some say 55, but I believe 50 being on the lowest. Now, you're going to need a little guy like this. Now, I bought this tool here from our local auto parts store, and it has this little adapter right here because it goes to the more newer style Schrader valve on our fuel injection system or on our fuel rails. But the older version, like in this pickup truck, kind of looks like something you'd find on a tire. It looks like a valve stem, right? So it has this little guy here, comes in the kit. Has that nice little O-ring there. The pin goes all the way through, so make contact on that guy right there. So we're going to go ahead and install him. Finger tight. It's all you need. It's an O-ring, so finger tight. Make sure that guy's attached. Grab the other end of our fuel pressure tester. Go ahead and thread it in on that guy right there. We're going to put him to the side. Let's see. I'll put him over there so we can see it. I can turn the key on. So there you go. So our gauge is at 0. Now, key on, I should see anywhere between 50 and 60 here. So let's go ahead. We'll come in here. Key is on. Yep. Come back over here. Now you can see, wow. So we got 15. That is nowhere near high enough. So let's turn the key off. Turn it back on. Come back over here to our gauge. And well, you can see we still only have 15 PSI. That is nowhere near enough. Let's go ahead and start our engine. See, it's stumbling. Let's turn our jumper box on, shall we? Let's give it a little more power. There you go. So you hear how this thing kind of stumbles? And I've seen a lot of trucks do that. So our truck is now running, and we're coming over here to our fuel pressure gauge. And you can see we have got about 32 PSI, which is almost 20 PSI lower than the minimum this truck needs. So I'm gonna go ahead and shut this truck off. We'll go ahead and I'll bleed the pressure off that gauge. Now I'm gonna get up underneath this truck and show you the location of our fuel filter. We're gonna pull that out, change it out with our new one, and then redo our test. All right, I got the truck up in the air, as you can see, make it much easier to roll around underneath and show you guys what it is that I'm doing. That, you know, give you a clearer picture of what's going on. So here is our fuel filter that is in the truck. Now you can see it's actually fairly new. That does not mean anything though. I don't know how long ago this has been changed because we have not done it since purchasing this vehicle. So, but now you got the end right here from the back. Here is our fuel tank. So, and you can see this thing just kind of snaps into this little bracket right here. We're gonna put our new one up in here next to it. Just kind of get a visual, make sure it looks correct. And it does. Then you can see the arrow too. So make sure you follow all that. Now you're gonna want a drain pan or some kind of catch pan underneath your fuel filter because it will leak fluid when you get these lines off. And try to position yourself in a way where when you get these off, the fuel doesn't run down your arm and into your pits. So if you've ever had that happen, it's extremely uncomfortable. Now, let's go ahead and turn this guy so we can see what we got. And you can see it's got this little tabs here. Now these lines are fairly easy to get off. You just want to position yourself in a spot where you can press on, or I believe this one here, it might just pull out. Let's come over here where I can see it a little bit better. There we go. Let's turn this guy where you can see it. So you got all these little tabs up on our lines. Now some of them you can push and it releases, and some of them you have to get underneath with like a little pin and pull those guys out. But I believe this one here you have to push. So let's see. Yep, push it. Woo. And I got, come on, focus. There we go. So get this guy off here. Put our drain pan underneath. That is gonna be, we got our other one here. Push this little guy in. So now both of those guys are off. Take this guy over here. Matter of fact, let's pull him out of this guy. There we go. We'll do this. Let's drain some of the fluid out. Push on our little detent on the back, which is kind of difficult with one hand. Let's see here. Trying to push it and get that off at the same time. Does not seem to be working. All right, give me a second. Let me push it. I'm gonna push that little tab and take that off. All right, fuel filter's off. Grab the light here so we can get up there and see. So you can see, you can hopefully see the little green there. Try to get it focused. There you go. So that's what catches on the lip of our fuel filter. And if you get on this side here, you can see the little green there. Just push that up and it usually releases our fuel filter. So let's see. So push on it. There you can see it came up. This one's a little stiff, but push on that guy right there. It'll lift up on that guy right there and release our fuel filter. So Our old one is out. We'll go ahead and pop our new one in. Now it's really easy because you got the one going towards the engine. Snaps onto that guy right there. And of course these two are two different sizes, so it's kind of difficult to mix it up. So once I get this snap back on, I'll put it in our little bracket here. We'll jump up to the top, turn our key on, and see what our fuel pressure is. All right, fuel filter is installed. Our fuel pump, or our fuel pressure gauge, is at 0. Let's go in here, turn our key on and off a couple times. So there's on, off, on, off, and I hear the fuel pump. So get up here, let's see where we're at. We are still at, oh, we got 11, 10, 11. Let's go ahead and start the truck, see what it does. Trying. Got about 32 psi on it. Now it is a little bit better, maybe. But this truck still needs between 50 and 60 psi. So, changing a fuel filter helped a little bit, which means that one's probably plugged. But it didn't cure the whole problem. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and shut the truck off. Disconnect our battery up here. I like to take the negative side off. We'll get that out of the way. Once I have that undone, we're going to go ahead and grab ourselves what looks like to be a 7mm. We're going to want to take these guys out right here. That way this has room. That way this can be pulled out of the side of the bed and follow our fuel tank down. Now I would normally, if you guys have seen me before, I would just undo the bed and lift the bed up out of the way, but I've been using this truck to make scrap metal runs. That isn't going to really help me out here, but like I said, we'll disconnect the battery, get the 7mm is what it looks like out of our filler neck. Then we're going to jump underneath the truck, get a floor jack underneath here, because this looks about to be the center, like somewhere in here. We'll get a floor jack underneath here to help support our fuel tank. Then what I'm going to do is get these guys out, which look to be 13mm. I could be wrong. Yep, these are 13mm, so we'll get those out, and then we'll lower this thing down on our floor jack. And I'll come back, bring you guys back in. Wow, we'll lower that fuel tank down on our floor jack, get it down far enough so we can pull the cap off and get that fuel pump out. So let me get the battery undone, this filler neck undone, we'll drop the tank, and I'll bring you guys right back. All right, fuel tank is down just far enough where I believe we have enough room to get our pump out. So now you can see here we have our plug, and we have our 3 lines. We have one that looks like it goes to an evap. We have a feed line and a return line. Now before we go ahead and start pulling any of that stuff off, let's look at our new pump right here and kind of get to see if everything is the same orientation. So we have our plug. Yep. We've got a fuel line here, and it looks like we have our evap line here. And oh, there we go. So there we go. There's our other line. So we've got our evap is what it looks like. Have our other 3 fuel lines there and our plug. So everything looks like it's in the right spot. Now go ahead and pick that guy out of the way. I'll never see that again. Holy cow. It's around here. I'll find it. I promise. There it is. So that's a little lock. That helps keep all of this stuff from coming loose. So now that we have that undone, we can go ahead and unplug our fuel pump there. Now if you look at our other lines, they're just like the ones on the filter. Should be able to press that guy, but I can't get my fingers in there. So let's see if I can get, oops, set a needle nose on there. There we go. Press that guy down. See if I can't work him off. Kind of difficult one-handed, but another thing we can do is, because this pump is no good, probably break them off. I'll try to not do that. She is a little difficult one-handed, but if you can see it, see if I can depress it. There we go. Yeah, it's just a little difficult one-handed. So press those guys off. You see we got one over there as well. I believe this one on the other side is the same. Yep. Yeah, so they all have the same style clip. Should be able to press this guy, pull these off, press this guy. So you have almost there, but press him, get him off. Then we'll go ahead and disconnect this guy. He should be kind of the same. Another little push over here, or yeah, should be the same. Press on this guy, should release. We'll pull that guy off as well. Then once we're off that, I'll bring you guys right back and we'll knock this ring off, and then we'll pull our pump. All right, all our hoses are off, electric connectors off, and now I'll give you a good shot. If you can see up in there, same as our lines on our filter. You press this little guy in, and it should really, yeah, you see it moving. Did have to press quite hard on these. It doesn't look like or even feel like these have ever been off. So took a little bit of pressure, but once you squeeze it, it clears these little ribs right here. Able to pull it off. So now that we got everything off, I'm gonna hand you off to Seth. Say hi, Seth. Hi. He'll do a little bit of videoing. That way it makes it easier for me. You wanna get up here, bud? Yep. So now that we have everything off, I've hit this with an air hose and knocked all of our big chunks out of the way, just to try to keep as much of the dirt and debris and rocks and all that stuff from falling into our tank. So now on this ring, you can see it's got these little notches here. Now I'm going to take this. I have a junk regular screwdriver. I use it for everything. Pry bars, punches, you name it. So now I'm just going to go ahead and grab one edge of that. Hit the end of our screwdriver with a hammer. And try to rotate this ring off. So there it goes. So now that it's spun off of our little clamps, we'll go ahead and get that guy out of the way. Right here, pick this guy up, try to work him out of our tank. There we go. Let's see. Alright, get that guy out of the way. Try to keep all that dirt from falling in there. Alright, there we go. We're coming. It's like one of those little games. Got to find the right direction and path. All right, so this guy is out. I'm going to put him over here. Yeah, this tank, I'm glad it isn't any fuller. He'd be pouring out all over the place. Go ahead and get this guy out of there. Holy cow. Oh. See where our ring sits. We're gonna have to go ahead and do a little bit of cleaning. That is okay. I'm surprised this thing didn't leak fuel all over the place, because that is a lot of dirt in the groove where the ring was supposed to be. So, wow. All right, let's get out here. Take a look at these things side by side. All right. Okay, so. We're gonna use a lighter. No, I'm kidding. All right, so here's our old pump, here's our float, here's our arm. Now, here's our new guy. You can see, oh, it is identical. Here's a neat fact. These trucks come in 3 different wheelbases. You have standard cab short bed, you have extended cab short bed, and then you have extended cab long bed. So there's like 3 different wheelbases. Now, when you order these pumps, you have to remember or know the wheelbase of the truck. Seems silly, right? But I think because each one of these trucks has a different size fuel tank, then that puts our fuel pump in a different spot, which means now our sending units are different sizes, or these guys here might be different. Maybe the depth's a little bit different, like shorter because one tank's longer, or now you got one pump that's longer because one tank's shorter, stuff like that. So remember, you have to know your wheelbase. This truck, being a single cab short bed, it's the edge is 111.5 inches from center to hubcap to center to hubcap. So I had to know that when ordering this pump. Now, so our little floats, same. Everything else, let's go ahead and put this guy, we're going to line him up the same way this one is. These guys are in the same spot, so that's good. Our pumps look about the same. We have the 2 little support bars with springs, those are the same. We have our little pressure regulators is what it looks like. All the hoses are coming down, going into the same place. Our power and ground wires look to be the same. This guy looks like he was spliced at one point, so something was changed. Nope, maybe that's factory. But other than that, you get these guys standing up side by side. They look pretty darn identical. The little tabs are in the same spot. All of our little guys here are facing the same way. So now that I've verified our pumps are the same, go ahead and snap this little guy into place. Reinstall our fuel pump into the tank, get our tank button back up into the truck, and I'll make sure to bring you guys back to double check our fuel pressures. So then we go ahead and get this reinstalled in the tank, get it back up in the truck, and I'll be right back. Fuel pump is installed. We are plugged back in. All our lines are snapped back into place. And you can see our fuel tank is still hanging, being supported by our transmission jack. Now I wanted to do that because, well, now's a good time to test it. We have the truck up in the air. I can double check, make sure I don't have any leaks on the hoses. And if the pump doesn't work, well, I'm out. I can pull it out right now, see if I can't get to an auto parts store or something and change it out. So, but new one's installed, all our hoses are plugged back in. Our fuel pressure gauge is just hanging out on top of our engine, and we are at 0. Now with our old pump, we ended up with about 10 to 15 with the key on, and just over 30 with it running. So now let's see if we can get our 50 to 60 with our key on and with it running. Now I know some forums or some pages on the interwebs will say it's roughly about 30 to 40 with the key on, not running. So, and that might be just because it could have error or something in the system. So we're going to go ahead and give it a shot, see what we come up with. Go ahead and turn our key on and off a couple of times. So that's about 5. Let's do one more for good measure. All right, so that is key turn. We turn the key on and off 6 times. Let's get underneath the truck. You can see we have no new leaks, no new streams, or any indication of fuel pouring out all over the place. And we're gonna come up here now and see our fuel pressure, key on off, is we are at 32. Just above 30. Let's go, yeah, 31, 30. So now that we have that, and that is a heck of a lot better than it was before. 10, so that's 20 more. So now let's fire this thing up and see what it does. Oh, you can already tell the thing before you crank and crank and crank and crank and crank, and the truck would not fire up. It kind of stumble on itself. So now let's see what we have. Oh, we're above 60. Look at that, 65, 66, 68 PSI. Wow. That is nice. And this thing sounds like it's running pretty darn good. So I'm going to count that as a win. Whew. Yep, 68, 66 PSI running. And that is a heck of a lot better than our 30, 32. It's way closer than where it should be. So that makes me extremely happy. This truck is no longer broke down the yard. But now that we verified we have no leaks and our fuel pressures are where it needs to be, I'm going to go ahead and get this tank back up in the truck, get everything buttoned up, and I'll bring you guys back here in a sec. Take this thing on a test drive and see how she acts. All right, truck is on the ground. I'm gonna apologize about the lighting. So I got my backup light right there, right? Truck is on the ground, thing fires right up. And I gotta tell you, it is the smoothest this truck has fired up since we've owned it. Now, it's only recently that I discovered the fuel pump. I was out driving, the truck died. I had to bleed a bunch of air from the filter and got it to fire back up, running, was able to drive it home. But ever since we've had this truck, it's always put off a lean code. It stumbled a little bit but when you first started it, and then it would clear up and it would run fine, that we think. But it was always, I always felt the thing was kind of gutless, and then I figured, you know what, it's a 3-liter. Maybe they are that way, but I'm telling you right now, oh yeah, it's a night and day difference. This thing is running nice and smooth. It fired right up. Idle came down where it's supposed to, so we are good to go. This truck feels absolutely amazing. My daughter can now get back in it, drive it. She's trying to get her license before school starts again, right? Doesn't want to be a senior, still taking the bus. So I'm trying to get this thing fixed up for her so we can get her out driving, get her license, and have fun with the pickup truck. She loves this little Ranger. So sounds good. It's not stumbling. It's not, you know, it's not idling rough. Oh yeah, good pickup. So I don't know if you can hear the exhaust, but it sounds good. It's got a lot more power than it did. So go ahead. Oh yeah. Pull on over, do a quick little walk around, make sure we don't have anything pouring out the bottom of the truck. Get up underneath there. I do not see anything dripping. This, you can hear it. You can hear the engine idle. Sounds good, especially when you come back here to the exhaust. Truck seems to be doing pretty darn good, so I am going to go ahead and call that fixed. Now I wanted to put this video out because there's a lot of, there's a lot of different things out there that can cause some of the same issues. All right, say you have a lean code, dirty mass airflow, plugged fuel filter. You've got a leaky intake gasket. You've got a hole in our air cleaner, or the ducting that goes to our throttle body, right? So the mass airflow is not seeing the airflow, therefore it could cause a lean code. Right, lots of different things. So I wanted to show you guys how to test your fuel pressure, because low fuel pressure is definitely going to cause it to run lean. It's going to cause it to stumble, and it's just going to create a lot of problems. And also, I want to show this because fuel pumps don't either. They're not like one of those things that they either work or they don't. 90% of the time they are, but sometimes you run into that one pump that's not ready to quite die yet, which is a good thing because this truck did get me home. So, but we got our new fuel pump in it. Hope this helps a lot of you guys out. This truck is ready to go back on the road so my daughter can now enjoy it. But like I said, hope this helps you guys out. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to end this one right here. We're going to take this thing back to the shop. I'm going to clean up. Now, if you guys could do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up, right? Leave a comment down below. Tell me what you think. And again, you guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for all your support. I'll catch you on the next one.